isn't it crazy how when somebody is watching us ride and we know that they are assessing what we're doing and kind of weighing it all up, the good and the bad and all the things, we tend to ride better. We tend to have more attention to detail. We tend to be more present, more self-aware, all of the things. And so many riders, this is where they feel that they're falling short. They don't have anybody to watch them. They don't have an instructor or a trainer there in the arena with them. But you know what? You don't need somebody else. Because what if future you was actually the person watching you, but they're watching you today? And that little device in your pocket is what can make it all possible. Okay, I'm going to show you how. Let's dive in. Hey there, and welcome to the Daily Strides podcast. My name is Lorna Leeson. I'm an equestrian trainer and coach, and I work with riders from all over the world, helping them to go from not knowing what to do with their horse each day in the saddle to having an actual plan, especially if they don't have a regular instructor or trainer. And today I want to really show you how simple this can be, that you can begin to use future you, okay, you in the future, to actually transform your riding today using your phone. So video is something that I think many riders shy away from. And I think it's because we have a little bit of a fear of being judged. We worry what other people are going to think about us or what they're going to say about us, and maybe it's not going to be as nice as we would like. But your videos don't have to be for anybody else. They can just be for you, for future you. That future you, with the benefit of 2020 hindsight, can look back on past you, the person taking the video at that moment, and can help guide and bring things to light that maybe were being hidden before that point. I think this is really important, and I think it's something that we're missing out on. I think as riders, we can overcomplicate all of this. We can think that, oh, it's too difficult, it's too awkward. But I'm telling you now, if you've got a smartphone, and I'm assuming you do, you're listening to the podcast, hey? So if you've got a smartphone, you can begin using it today to actually begin training yourself and training yourself from the better perspective. So back to how we ride when someone else is watching. Now, I know, because obviously I'm a riding instructor, so I spend a lot of time with people. I know that when riders think there is somebody else watching them, now not just like your mom, okay, or not just your friend. This is somebody who you know is actively kind of having thoughts about what you're doing with your horse, okay? When they're watching you ride, there is a tendency, and it's just all about being human. We want to do our best. We want to do as well as we possibly can. And so we ride differently. But then the same applies that when we ride alone, we're very often not as present and we're not as aware as we could be. And if you could just begin using video from today in your riding, you can shift all of that. You know, you can go from maybe your posture not being as great, or maybe your circles looking a little bit like duck eggs, hey? Or it could be that the transitions, they're not, you wouldn't be setting them up as well as you could be. But then once you know that future you is watching you via your phone and the camera that's now trained on you, you tend to do better. You already know better, but it's like this little reminder. It's like, oh gosh, I'm being watched. Let's rather do better as well. So what I'm going to suggest you do is set up your phone in the arena. I'm going to talk about a few different ways you can do that, okay? But set it up. And then as you are videoing yourself, you are riding from the perspective that future you is already watching, okay? That this video has been recorded, future you is watching, and that you are out to impress future you. And I know this sounds a bit bizarre, but trust me, this works, eh? Last Saturday, I was out in the arena and we were playing around with my new training partner, the Pivo, okay? And the Pivo is this fantastic little device, gadget type thing. What it does is it kind of sits between your phone and the tripod. So you have a tripod, you've got the pivo in the middle, and then you've your phone sitting on top, okay? And obviously your phone's recording you, yeah? The video's on. So my phone was there recording me, but we were playing with the settings on the pivo. We were getting it all kind of working and everything. And you know what I saw when I looked back over it Saturday evening? This was absolutely fascinating to me. I could see that when I was, and I'm using air quotations now, riding, yeah? So when the pivo was tracking me and I'm riding, and all it does is it keeps turning around the arena. So you put it somewhere in the arena that's fairly central. I like to say just slightly off center of the center line because I like to use the center line. And then it just follows me. It just keeps kind of turning around. It can turn 360 degrees. And it's like having a person in the arena who just keeps their eyes on you the whole time. But anyway, when I knew I was riding and it was following me, I was actually riding. You know, I was making an effort, if you want, okay? I was doing all the things that I know what to do. Yeah, when we were fiddling with the settings, wow, the contrast was like night and day, okay? I was like Slouchy McSloucherson. It was actually shocking, but shocking in a good way, because now I know that if I'm doing all of the things only half the time, let's say, okay, or maybe it's 3/4 of the time, I'm only going to get half the results or 3/4 of the results. It makes sense. But if I now begin training myself to do all of the things all of the time, because it's following me, it's watching me, yeah, that's a game changer. And I think that you can have that in your ride as well, because very often as riders, as I said, we know what to do. We know what we want to be doing, but we just don't do it. I don't know if it's laziness or if we just get overwhelmed or if we forget. I don't know, but we don't. So I really took this from like my experience on Saturday, is that now with Pivo as my new little training partner, it is helping hold me accountable to my future self. And I see it that way. I really do. And I think that if you're kind of feeling that way in your ride, I would definitely consider looking at this as a real option that you can use to push things forward. Because as riders, and this is not just as riders, this is life in general, there's a thing called confirmation bias, which means that right now you believe lots of different things, okay? I believe lots of different things. We all have different beliefs. But what many people don't understand is whatever you believe, your brain, your mind will actively look for things that basically prove your belief. You'll always look for things to prove yourself right. Now, where this comes into your riding is so often when I'm with riders, I will hear them take these assumptions that they have, okay? And they will just keep riding into those assumptions. They will keep doing things based on the assumptions or the beliefs that they have about themselves and their horse. So an example of this might be the contact. A lot of riders will complain that their horse has been a little fussy with the contact. And then true to form, when they ride, what does the horse do? Yeah, he's not as happy as he could be with the contact. But you know what? When they watch back on the video, they can actually see the truth, which can often sting a little bit, eh? It can sometimes be a bitter pill, hey? I'm not going to tell you that it's all going to be sunshine and roses here, but it becomes really clear that potentially what is actually going on has nothing to do with the horse. It's to do with the rider. It's to do with how things are being approached. Now, we can say this for everything. This could be to do with canter transitions. You know, people say, oh, my horse, he gets really flat into the canter. But then when they watch themselves in the video, it's like, yeah, he's doing that because you're throwing yourself at his neck every time you ask for the canter. Or it could be that people complain that their horse is being a little hollow. And yet they're sitting, the way I was, like Slouchy McSloucherson. Yeah, okay. So I just think video is so important because it is going to really help you to see the whole picture and to begin actually identifying the root causes behind your riding and what's going on and maybe the challenges that you're facing. Not just the things that you already think is going on, okay? And that you believe is going on. Now you get to see this bigger picture, and that is where you can begin to make progress. Now, I really do believe in starting to create a little bit of a progress bank for yourself. I know. I was thinking, what will we call it? We'll call it a progress bank, eh? But what I mean is that I have been preaching for years and years about doing riding reviews, okay? I think they're really, really, really important. I think they're a game changer, actually, for so many riders, for all riders. I don't think there's anybody who could not benefit from this. And I really and truly hang my hat on that statement, okay? But when you then begin to create little short segments of your rides, and again, like so many riders get caught up, they think they have to have a 45-minute production. No, because I tell you what, you're rarely going to sit and watch yourself for 45 minutes. I'm going to be really honest, okay? Like, you know, it takes 45 minutes to ride. Do you have another 45 minutes later in the week to go back and review that? Probably not, eh? But if you take little short segments, like I'm talking like 5 minutes, and you really focus on one thing that you're working on in that 5 minutes, and then you begin to obviously date them and say the thing that you were working on that day, okay? And you put them together and you begin to create this bank, you now are going to be able to look back and actually see progress. Like it could be like, oh my goodness, look at this, like 3 months ago, look how unsteady my lower leg was, and now look at it. Or, okay, we'll use the previous example. Look at the consistent contact now. Amazing. But I will stress, you do have to clearly label the video. Okay, put the date and put whatever it was you were working on, okay? Because, yeah, you know, we're all about impressing future you. Okay, future you will thank present you for doing that. Okay, so you want to use video as your feedback loop. Film something, film 5 minutes, get really specific about what you want to capture, how you want it to look, all the things like the angles and everything, okay? Then you're going to reflect back, just jot it down. I love using Telegram for this. I've mentioned it in the previous week's episode. I create a little voice note for myself, not for anybody else, just for me. And it's short, short, sweet and to the point. I just say what I worked on, how it went, and what could improve. That's it, simple, okay? Keep it short, sweet, and to the point. And then when you've got a moment, watch the video, review the video. But now, you know, you want to do this in a place where you've got a little bit of time and you've got the focus and the concentration. Don't do it when the kids are running around like, I don't know, crazy people, or when you're, you know, rushing and racing to get something else done. Like, give yourself a bit of time. Make it a ritual. I really do think the review has to become a little bit of a ritual. Make it something you enjoy. Maybe it's Earl Grey tea and some dark chocolate, my current favourite. Or maybe it's a glass of wine, whatever, okay? Make it a ritual. And then you're going to pick one thing from that video that you're going to work on improving the very next time you're in the saddle. And then you're just going to keep repeating it. You're going to keep taking the 5-minute videos, okay? And remember, you're doing this. You're taking the video so that a future you can watch over it. It's not for the rest of the world. As I said at the beginning, drop that. It's not for them. Okay, if you want it to be for them, it can be for them. But forget about them right now. Let's focus on you. Do this for yourself. Now, if all this sounds good and you're still like, yeah, Lorna, what exactly am I looking for? Like, what do I do? Okay, I've got you covered. You're just going to pop over to stridesforsuccess.com/video, and I have a ride and review. It's a guided audio and a printable progress checklist for you to download there that you can use to actually listen to as you create your video, and then month by month you can just check your progress. Yeah? Okay, perfect. So you can get that over there. It's absolutely free. Now, back to the whole making the videos even easier and better, okay? So hopefully at this point you can see how great videos are and how beneficial they can be. Like, and again, you know, you can moan all day long till the cows come home. Oh, I don't have anybody to help me. Oh, I don't have this and I don't have that. You do. Again, you're listening to this on a phone, okay? Which means you do have a phone and you can make a plan. But I'm telling you now, when you have an auto-tracking device like Pivo, when you have that, it absolutely makes things so much easier. It makes the filming easier. It's clear and reliable because it zooms in. It kind of stays with you as you move around the arena. Now, I know you're probably thinking, is this like a drone? No, it's not. It's on a tripod, but it just moves put it in the middle and it'll just move around. It'll keep swirling your camera around you. Imagine me standing in the middle of the arena and I'm just pivoting on the spot watching you as you ride. Okay, that's what it does, okay? And one of the ways that not only obviously it's following you, one of the ways that it just makes life so much easier is because you've got a remote control, a zapper in your pocket that you can then start the video and stop the video. Okay, that is massive because otherwise you keep having to almost like break your concentration. You have to go over, you have to drop the contact, you have to do all the things. You have to bend down, stop it. That's what I was doing. That's where I saw Slouchy McSloucherson coming into the game, okay? Because we were fiddling with settings and we were like, oh, and then we were reviewing things and all that. So I just think this is an absolute no-brainer. Like it is an upgrade. If you don't have an instructor, even if you do have an instructor or trainer, video your lessons. This is going to change everything. And when it's following you, you're not going to keep vanishing into the corners. This was always my issue because for years I actually videoed myself and I would prop my phone up, and you can still do that now as well. But the issue is every now and then you go off screen, you vanish, and you're always left wondering, what am I doing over there? What happened over there? Because very often when you come back, things have changed. You can see something's changed. You're not quite sure what. The other thing I love about the Pivo is that you can actually record yourself. You can talk to yourself, future you, yeah? Present you, as you ride, can talk to future you and tell you what you think is going on, how you think this looks, what it feels like, what you think your horse is doing. You can do all that. And then future you, when you're doing the review, can jump in and be like, no, that was not what was happening there at all. No. We need to clean that up. But it's such a learning curve. I cannot stress this enough. If you're interested at all in the Pivo, and again, I highly recommend, I would jump over to stridesforsuccess.com/Pivo, and you can just use the promo code DailyStrides to get 10% off at checkout. This is just our way of helping you get ahead in your riding and also thanking you for being a part of our community. I really strongly, and I would not recommend unless I'd use myself, I think it is amazing. So let's get back to you and today. And even if you don't have your Pivo yet, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, hey, I want you to still make a plan. You can use whatever you have. You have a smartphone. You're listening to this podcast. Use it. Prop it up. Do what I've done. I've done this for years. It works. It's a little bit awkward and it's a little bit fiddly having to keep, hitting record and hitting stop and all the things. But it still works, hey? So get it set up and then spend 5 minutes videoing yourself doing something really specific. Hey, spend 2 minutes, okay? Do something really specific, a transition, a circle, your rhythm and trot, your position, your posture, what you're doing with your hands, what you're doing with your legs, whatever the thing is for you that you're working on, spend a couple of minutes and then later today, watch it back and just pick one thing, one little thing that you're going to improve the next time you ride. And then tomorrow you are going to whip out that phone and you're going to take that next video and you're going to do the same thing. And I tell you now, this is how you improve. This is how, when you're riding alone, this is the best way to make a plan and to improve in your riding. And again, if you're not sure of what to do while you're videoing yourself, pop over to stridesforsuccess.com/video. I have a free audio that you can listen to as you ride that's going to take you through a couple of very basic things that you can begin today to pluck out what you need to know in order to improve your riding. You can find all the details for everything I mentioned today in the show notes for this episode, stridesforsuccess.com/episode 1369. Okay, I am going to leave it at that. Have an absolutely fantastic week. Ooh, and if you're not part of the Daily Strides podcast online community, go to stridesforsuccess.com/group, because I'm going to be doing a couple of different lives over the next couple of weeks all about how to actually make more of your video and using your video, but not just making the videos and doing the videos, reviewing the videos, how to get the most out of them for you and your horse. So make sure you join me there. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that for today. Have an absolutely fantastic day. Keep well, and I'll chat to you soon. Be good. Bye.